Hey guys, my name is Christina.
My name is Brian, and welcome to What the Did I Just Watch?
Where every week we will be rolling a 26-face die that will determine the first letter of the movie we will watch this week.
The twist is that one of us, or both of us, have never seen the movie before.
So join us as we share our thoughts on the movie.
I mean, that's gonna be horrible, but yes, absolutely.
Have a few laughs.
Stop it. And discuss what the we just watched.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? I'm your host, Christina, and with me is my best friend, Pants.
Hello.
This week, as much as I tried to not have it happen, Pants...
I'm so excited.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Pants rolled the letter E during our last episode, and he chose Evil Dead 2.
Yay!
I hope some of you at home are cheering because I did quite the opposite. I fought tooth and nail over this via text for a solid 5 minutes.
I think there was some FaceTime arguing in there as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
Because I very much did not want to watch this movie. I think that, I don't remember how many years ago the remake or the remastered version came out, but I saw that with you.
Oh, the reboot.
Yes. I remember that I paused the movie last night to, I believe, go to the bathroom, and I texted Pants, and I just continued to complain about how awful this was. For those of you who don't know me personally, I have a really active over-imagination, and I can sit through a movie like this. It's not that I can't sit through a horror movie. I am capable of watching a horror movie. It is the imagery that plays in my head at 2 a.m. whenever I go to the bathroom, and it's dark in my room, and then I'm walking in the pitch black to the bathroom. That is when these movies get my ass. So I'd like to tell you that yesterday at 2 a.m. when I had to use the bathroom, all I could see was the twisted mother in the cellar singing Rockabye Baby. Luckily, one of my cats likes to come with me, so I felt protected.
Did you?
I did. So I'll let Pants go ahead and get into the synopsis of this movie, although this podcast is just going to be me bitching about the movie.
So Evil Dead 2, also known as Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn, came out in 1987. It stars Bruce Campbell, Sarah Berry, and Dan Hicks. It was directed by Sam Raimi. The budget for this movie was $3.6 million. The gross domestic for US and Canada was $5.9 million.
Nice.
Indeed. The IMDb rating for Evil Dead 2 is 7.8, and the Rotten Tomatoes is sitting at 95% with an 89% audience score.
Just that blows my mind. I can see it. I can see where the craze comes in. I know that if I were somebody who was a fan of horror movies, that this might check a few boxes for me, because ultimately it was funny because of how bad it was. But I still don't. This is not my cup of tea. I would rather watch something else. But again, this podcast is about expanding my horizons, even if it means I'm going to hate the full movie.
And that's, as I've told you many times, that's my main goal behind doing this show, is to force
torture.
your hand. That as well. I can do that anyway without a podcast. Is to kind of force your hand and get you outside of your comfort zone. I don't plan on picking all horror movies because I'm not a monster, but there will be
like
some.
Like the Cyborg.
And okay. There will be some, but I don't want to do it just to scare you. Like,
sure.
I want it to be a movie that we can have a conversation about that has some social or cultural relevance.
Yeah.
Right? And this movie, whether you like it or not, does. And I think the
ratings speak for itself.
Exactly. And I mean, this is the second in a trilogy, an odd trilogy given the movies, but it spawned the reboot in 2013 that we mentioned, which was a full-blown horror movie, which I have made you watch.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful remake or reboot.
It was good, but it was terrifying.
It was horror, like gore horror.
Yes.
And I thought it was very well done.
And that's the kind of stuff I don't like. I think that I'm too empathetic. And so when I'm watching somebody go through like an excruciating amount of pain, or that are put into a corner and are
attacked
hiding
by their own
from
hand.
something. Yep. Those kinds of things are big triggers for me because they just give me a lot of anxiety. And again, it's because I'm very empathetic and I relate to people that way.
Sure.
So I'll go ahead and read you guys the synopsis from IMDb.com. The lone survivor of an onslaught of flesh-possessing spirit holes... Oh, wait. I don't know why I read this.
No, I'm reading the same synopsis, and I can see that you're just reading it. It should be holds up, I think.
Yeah, something. Okay, let's try. This is for a third time. The lone survivor of an onslaught of flesh-possessing spirits holes up in a cabin with a group of strangers while the demons continue their attack. This movie stars...
I already did that.
I was so put off by the fact that I just stopped at spirit holes. Whoever created that synopsis really set me up for failure.
That's the alternate title for the movie. Evil Dead 2, Spirit Holes. It's the porn version.
Oh man. You have my eyes watering. Wow.
So I watched this on iTunes. I own this movie on iTunes. And I understand you watched on Cinemax?
Yes, which, speaking of, I need to go cancel that subscription.
Yeah, Cinemax doesn't have shit. So,
Except for Evil Dead 2.
For Evil Dead 2. All right, so, as I said, this is the second part in kind of a pseudo-trilogy of movies. The history with the first two being that... So the first Evil Dead came out in 1981, and it was very much an indie movie. It was fully funded by Sam Raimi and his small little company that he had. And I know that you have not seen the first Evil Dead. I didn't make you watch that first because this is essentially a retelling of the same story.
Okay.
It's, even though it doesn't really look like it to you, it's the same movie initially, but on a bigger budget. So this actually looks better than the first one did.
But it's all the same storyline for the most part?
Yeah, so and it's been a minute since I've seen the first Evil Dead. I normally watch this one. I will kill her.
With your evil possessed hand.
Yeah. Dead by dawn.
Oh my god. I hate having to relive this movie like doing this podcast. This is not in my top anything ever. Unless it's like top movies I will never fucking watch again.
The first probably...
Hey, Pants. Sorry. I love cutting you off. I think that you should go ahead and tell people that you're about to spoil the movie. Spoiler warning!
Spoilers for, a 35-something-year-old movie.
I mean, I hadn't watched it until...
Would you have been offended if I spoiled it for you?
Probably not.
I assume people who are listening to this have watched it. If you haven't, go watch it. Come back. Listen to me talk about it. Listen to Tina bitch about it. I'm right, she's wrong. That's the moral of this podcast.
Wow.
So, the first 20 minutes or so pretty much redo the first movie. Ash goes to this cabin with his girlfriend, and she gets possessed, gets possessed, and there's, he gets possessed, whole fucking thing.
I thought it was kind of cute that they were in the cabin and he was like playing the piano while she danced versus doing anything else. Like, and then you find out that it's not even their cabin, so it's just this random piano in a cabin. He's playing it, she's dancing. That was very strange.
And then they kind of take beats from the first movie and insert them into this one.
Okay.
So, because if I remember correctly, at the end of the first movie, the book, the Necronomicon, is burned, and the cabin burns down. Obviously, it's still up. The book is still there. Nothing's been touched. So it's definitely not a direct sequel. But this time, Sam Raimi had a full production team behind him. Stephen King actually helped finance this movie.
I know this movie is from 1987, but I love that you just said he had a whole like team behind him because it's rough. But again, given the time that it came out,
For sure, yeah.
I'm sure it was magical.
And, I mean, had you seen the first one, I'm not going to say it's a night and day difference, but it definitely looks like you're looking at the first movie being like a VHS, and then this one being like a super standard definition DVD, maybe with some scratches on it.
I love the details.
Yeah. What was I saying before that?
I don't know.
Why aren't you listening?
I usually do. I hate this movie so
I don't care. You need to listen for conversation
Okay, I'm sorry.
purposes.
You said...
Stephen King was a huge fan of the first one, and he really wanted this one to get made. Sam Raimi's original idea for the second movie was Ash going back in time to the 1300 AD that's mentioned in this movie, medieval times, finding the source of this evil and fighting it. And that ended up being the third movie.
Oh.
So this one, again, got to retell the first one, add some more characters, add some more layers, if you want to say that.
Well, you said that the original movie also didn't have like a full cast. It was...
Yeah, it was just Ash and his girlfriend.
Okay. And this one they were able to incorporate a few more characters.
Right. So you do get Annie, who is the daughter of the man on the recording that they listen to that pretty much starts all this shit.
Right. It's like the discovery of the book and him beginning the translation process.
Right. And by them playing this, it awakens this evil because he's essentially doing the incantation, the spell, right?
But is that... So that was one thing I didn't understand, and maybe you can shed some light on it.
Mm-hmm.
If he had already done it, like he had already read it out loud, and then all of these things started happening, and later in the movie we find out that he's dead, why wasn't it already present whenever Ash and his girlfriend got to the cabin?
So when he read it the first time, it possessed his wife, Henrietta, who's in the basement.
Uh-huh.
And it's not really said how they like put it back in the box, so to say.
So it's just, you're just supposed to...
Just believe it.
Okay, so leave it alone.
Yeah.
You got it. Holes. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Those are those spirit
Spirit
holes we were talking
yeah.
about.
So this movie actually originally was given an X rating by the MPAA due to the over-the-top violence, the amount of blood, albeit, I mean, not realistic blood at all.
I know, but it was so, like...
It was over the top.
It was way over the top.
They actually... I don't know the full details on it, but Sam Raimi actually made a separate production company to release this movie, so his other one would not be tarnished by the X rating. Because when it got released, it was actually released as not rated, because he didn't want to tone it down too much.
Okay.
So what we see is actually toned down, but not all the way.
Okay.
So like a good 6, probably. So yeah, now that we have the backstory, I realize I was very long-winded. And I probably know the answer to this question, but just to follow format.
Yeah.
Tina, what did you think of Evil Dead 2?
I don't want to offend anybody that like grew up and this was like a staple of their childhood. but it was not for me. And so as an adult coming into this for the first time, it was awful. I was disturbed for 95% of this movie.
Oh, let's talk about the 5.
That was the opening scene in which nothing was happening. It had I mean, I guess, so I saw the reboot. So I kind of already knew what I was walking into, except that the reboot is horrifying. And this one was just disturbing. I don't necessarily want to call it a horror movie because I was a little anxious, but in the sense that I don't know how much more of this just like Shamu sized blood scenes I'm gonna be able to deal with. That to me was, what was it? There was a part where he thought he had, and I know we'll talk about this, but when the little hand is running around, he thinks he's injured it, and like a little trickle of blood starts coming out of that hole, and then out of nowhere, it's out of the spirit hole, and then out of nowhere, it's just fire hydrant gushing out of all of these holes, like hitting him, and the use of like red and then black and then blue and then green throughout this movie as like the internal juices of whatever the hell it is that they're killing. It was too much.
I think, and I don't have like the facts in front of me to back it up, but I think the use of the different colors was part of getting that rating down, because it's red blood that is going to spike that rating.
I see.
So you start using green, purple, blue, whatever.
Yeah.
Sort of like last week when we were talking about Justice League.
Sure.
And you could see, I think it was Steppenwolf's blood was green. In one of the versions of Justice League, it was green. And I think in Snyder's version, it was red.
Yeah.
So that's because he went hard R with it, while Justice League is PG-13.
But I think that for me was, there were a lot of parts of this movie that also were just visually disgusting. Like the mom when she's fighting Ash at the end, and literally, I know that it's really, things have come a long way, and I'm sure that if they did it now and it was her body, I would be even more grossed out. But the fact that it was just like
the prosthetics,
you could just see her insides, and yeah, it was.
Yeah, she was very disgusting once they showed her like full body.
Yes.
It was, she's a larger woman, and it was just very,
it was just all her insides.
Yeah.
And that to me was getting me.
And she was just spinning.
And then I was like, yeah. And I was like, this is her mom, like Annie's mom. Like, how is she not overly traumatized? Because I feel that even though these scenes were going on, she was pretty level-headed for it being her freaking mom.
One of my favorite things about Annie is her fucking scream.
Oh,
especially when Ash is possessed again and starts coming after her, and she's like holding the door. It's just this overacting to like Nick Cage levels, and she's just looking into the air and just screaming, and just every time the door hits her, it's like, ah! Ah!
But also, why is it that every time they scream, they're also like smiling? Like, it's full mouth. Their teeth are completely exposed and like, ah!
Because it's like, it's their first acting job, so they're still like,
it's like, I still have to look beautiful while
like,
I scream.
This is my headshot.
Yes. Oh yeah. That was another thing. There was the scene where we're jumping around a lot. I'm sorry, but in the beginning when his girlfriend's dead, this is post burying her, which by the way all took place in like less than 5 minutes.
That was a lot of the first movie.
Oh, so that was just kind of like recapping?
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's that scene where she's possessed and she's doing like some ballet, dancey, acrobatic stuff in the front yard. And she's laughing, but her mouth isn't moving. And I know that it's because those are prosthetics, like doing all of that. But that to me was like, she's not even, what is happening? Like, she just, again, teeth. Yeah. It was just teeth and a like maniacal laugh in the background.
Yeah. I mean, as bad as it looks now, I appreciate the use of like stop motion puppetry. I mean, it does not look good from a 2021 lens.
Sure.
But I can't even imagine it was believable then. But I think it was probably more acceptable. I don't know that level of puppetry and stop motion had been used in horror at that time. And I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
it was still interesting to watch because you don't see that now in movies. Technology and digital graphics and CGI have just taken over the movie industry, and you don't typically see this kind of stuff anymore, except for stop animation with like the little clay figurines. I can't think of one right now. There was
like
that chicken one, claymation.
Yeah, like Chicken Run.
I love those. Chicken Run, yeah.
Or like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
It's not recent, but those aren't mixed in with real life characters, right? The whole movie is like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just seeing it mixed in here, I thought it was interesting. Not great, but I mean, for its time, yeah.
I hated that there was a scene where she put her head back on. It was like rolling to her. And then she rolls the head down into her arm. I don't know why that was a big like moment for me, but
that's what did it for you.
Oh gosh, I don't know why. It just creeped me out so much.
One of the first things I always think of with this, beyond like the blood and everything, is like the very opening scene where it's like the wide shot of the car crossing the bridge.
Yes, the low budget car
scene. It just
scene.
looked like a kid's toy just being pushed across like a little Lego bridge.
Yes.
And then Ash coming back to see the bridge was mangled, and it's just like this really, it doesn't even look like a bridge.
No.
Like that it was a bridge. Yeah. So then he eventually meets the two other characters, which is Bobby Joe and Jake. Yes. So two of like the most hick people ever. Definitely voted for Trump.
Yes, her.
They think there was voter fraud.
Oh my god. He was. And that whole interaction too was so strange.
I thought it was really strange that she died, yet she still voted.
What are we? Where are you right now? I can't believe you're still talking about
All
that.
these dead people voted.
Oh god. Anyways, no.
Biden 2024.
They had a. Just do a little political.
All right, we're done. Go.
They had that scene where like the four of them are talking because she's like, "Is this the bridge that leads to my daddy's house?" That's not what she says. And he's like, "Yeah, but you're not going there." And she argues back, and then he like turns his brights on, and you can see the bridge. And the acting between them, that conversation that they had, gave me like creeper vibes really hard. And when she said, "Okay, I'll give you $100, but then you have to carry our luggage." And that smile she gives him, I'm like, why are you following these crazy people into the woods, even if they know where the trail is? They look like shady people.
And you're referring to Annie now.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, Annie just kind of going with Bobby Joe and
the other guy.
Yeah.
That she came with, her Ken doll looking.
Yes.
I don't really know if that's her boyfriend or not.
I don't know. Didn't they kiss?
Maybe.
I think they did. When she got off the plane.
Okay, because she like clings to Ash like real quick once he's dead.
Well,
it's that chin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I really like the fact that you were possessed while I knew you, but then you told me to stop, and now we're just gonna join arms.
She's just gonna like suck on its chin. Do you see his chin? It's huge.
When he's possessed?
Oh no, just in general.
In general.
Mm-hmm.
I was too focused on the fact that his facial injuries continued to change every time.
Oh, I made note of that.
He came back onto screen.
I actually made note first of whenever he wakes up from being possessed in the very beginning, and he has mud all over him.
Yeah.
The mud on his face continually moves.
Yes.
Every time it shows him, and I just like to think that the mud is probably possessed and it's just moving.
Sure.
Just to make the movie make sense.
Well, when he was like face down and it was bubbling a lot, so it's very possible that his pores also had that same reaction.
I agree.
And so that migrated the mud patterns over his face.
Yep. So that's canon now.
Yep.
Got it.
I can't. One of the scenes where it's like really obvious is after he gets hit with the red and black blood out of the spirit holes. And and he's like drenched in black and like an undertone of red because black was the last thing to hit him. And not 30 seconds after that scene, he's completely clean on his face except for the injuries that he had.
Yeah.
That have also shifted a little bit.
Yeah, they do something similar later whenever they fight off Henrietta. And I think she bleeds the blue. I think that was her. Somebody bleeds
I can't remember. It was either him. It was either her or the big thing at the end.
I don't think it was a big thing at the end because Ash was doing that alone. And Annie is who I'm referring to. Then
it was green. Okay. Because I think I remember it on her shirt.
Okay.
Because that was the only,
it looked like just like some paint smears of...
She had like one streak on her shirt. And I said, wow, she really knows how to dodge all of that. It's not important. It's just little things where I was like, this is not full circle. The hand, that like, I think that scene was so long where he is fighting his possessed hand on his body. And I can't remember because I was a little delirious yesterday, but was it going from like possessed hand to his hand for a minute, or was it always possessed hand? I couldn't keep track. That's neither here nor there.
I believe once it's possessed, it was just possessed.
It was just possessed.
And that scene actually was completely improv by Bruce Campbell.
Really?
Yeah. He was told to, do something with his hand that it's possessed.
Sure.
And the whole like overacting thing he did that he does so well.
Yes.
That was all him. Uh-huh. And they kept the first take. They're like, no, perfect.
I love that he's leaning against the sink and he has control of the left side of his body. I don't remember if it's left or right, but we're just going to go with he has control of the other side of his body, but for some reason he cannot get away from that sink and he continues to bash his head with all of these plates. Like, you're just like one after the other after the other. I'm like, walk away.
Yeah, they really leaned into the physical comedy with him. And I mean, God bless Bruce Campbell. He's gone on to be pretty much like the B-C list actor. He's definitely, he's doing something right. He does like the convention circuit and he has multiple books. I think one of them it's probably not the exact name, but it's something along the lines of The Power of the Chin. And of course he's gone to he did Army of Darkness after this, and he's done Ash vs. Evil Dead on Stars, which is on Netflix, and very good. Still cheesy, but modern. One by one, everybody's dead, right? So Annie's boyfriend dies first and quickly comes back as a Deadite. And how do they kill him?
I don't really understand how he ever even got possessed, but he gets possessed. And then I think that did they chop him up?
It's quite possible.
I don't remember. I just know that he was possessed, and I don't remember how he got possessed because Jake was the one that had like the full hand on him. And you know what it probably was? I think that when he went to try and rescue Jake because the thing in the basement had its hand on his face, it like super kicked him against a wall and he probably died. But somehow Jake survives a total annihilation with a tree as well. So again, spirit holes, but we'll just move forward.
Something that I was fully expecting in this movie, and I guess it's been a little while since I've actually seen this one versus the first one. Whenever Bobby Joe is running outside, whenever she's like, fuck this, and she leaves, and the tree starts kind of wrapping her up. And of course the whole forest is possessed. Yeah. I guess. There is a scene in the first one and in the reboot where it's probably one of the most famous scenes Ash's girlfriend runs into the forest, and a tree, many trees, start grabbing her, much like they do Bobby Joe in this one. And the difference being that in the original and in the reboot, the trees actually assault them.
Sexually.
Yes. We won't linger on that too much, but it's definitely a scene that has stuck with people who saw the first one. It's a scene that people mention whenever you bring up the original Evil Dead, is the tree scene. I was fully expecting it in this, and I guess it's again been a little bit since I've seen it, but it didn't happen. It did, kind of strangle her and hold her down
and drag her through the woods.
Yes.
Which, that's one thing, like, I can't remember if that scene was in the beginning. I think it was in the beginning. I couldn't tell if Ash's character was, like, flying through the forest or just circling and being possessed. I think that a lot of those scenes in which something is happening where, like, they're being dragged or possessed or whatever, those were done so bizarrely. I have no words for it. You know what I'm talking about, right? In the beginning, where he's just spinning in a circle, which I'm sure he was on a green screen with his arms and legs, like, tied up. Sure. And he's just like,
Another thing that's very prevalent in all of the Evil Dead movies and series is kind of I forget what they call it, but it's like the dead POV, where it shows the camera like rushing through like the ground of the forest towards something. That happens in all of them. It's kind of Sam Raimi's like big contribution, I guess. I mean, he definitely made that POV shot. Like anything you see or any movie you see with that, this was the first. So he made that a staple.
Oh, okay.
So once Bobby Joe is taken, Jake is kind of going stir crazy since Bobby Joe is missing in the forest, and he's bugging Ash and Annie that they need to go look for her, and they're busy like dissecting the recordings. And on the recordings, Dr. Nobi, who's Annie's dad, is explaining that, his wife is possessed. His wife being Henrietta, who's the
cellar demon?
Sure. The very sexy cellar demon.
No.
Agree to disagree.
Okay.
And and eventually he just he says fuck it and tries to go find her himself, and they all run after him, and madness ensues.
I have to rewind just a hair.
Sure.
Do they live on an island in the middle of the forest? And why is it that when Ash is going, like, he realizes that he's not going to be able to leave, he says, no! And it's showing that there's a giant cliff on both sides that he cannot cross, but somehow they find a trail to get to the house.
I don't know the geography of wherever they are.
Okay. I just wanted to, see if you had a better understanding of that, because also...
I assume it's just like this little piece of land that's separated from the main piece of land by one bridge.
A very scary bridge.
Yeah, with one road and then some trails.
Yes.
And demons.
Right.
So.
Trails that disappear.
Yeah, because they are too possessed.
Yep.
So they do whatever they want.
Yeah. They're like, slide to the right. Crisscross. I think it's slide to the left. Crisscross.
It is. So, it's embarrassing.
Watch this trail disappear.
So at one point, they're looking through the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, and they flip to a page that shows a childlike drawing, I guess, of this
savior.
Yeah, it's this man surrounded by like a castle and some knights and horses and shit. I mean, spitting image of Ash, our main character.
Down to the chainsaw.
Yeah, he's holding up a chainsaw, all heroically, and he has like a ripped blue shirt, and above it, it gives him the title of Hero from the Sky. Neither of them make this connection that this is Ash, but they're like, oh, some great job he did.
Yeah.
because here they are.
Right. We have to go back to find him.
We have to go back.
Yes. I knew you'd like that.
So Jake's pissed off about Bobby Joe being missing, and he goes and he throws these extra pages that Annie's brought back with her into the cellar where Henrietta is.
I mean, does he remember that she's down there?
I assume he does.
Like, what a jerk.
Because that's what makes it a bitch move. Because they're going to have to go down there now.
Yeah. Send his ass down there.
Yeah. At that point, he's attacked by evil Ash.
Outside, right? Like the spirit, you can see like that POV thing that you were talking about.
Right.
And then that's what I was talking about. He gets thrown against a tree, miraculously survives, and then Ash is suddenly possessed.
Right.
And so both of them are running for their lives towards the cabin.
Right.
Which I think that Jake doesn't make it to the cabin. Annie does and seals herself in because she accidentally stabs him with Jake with the spinal cord sword looking thing.
So Annie's locked herself in the cabin, assuming that Jake is dead and Ash is possessed, trying to get in the cabin. This is where we see, Annie doing her screaming and just amazing
open mouth, teeth, full teeth.
Yeah, just amazing acting work.
Yeah.
From Annie's actress.
I would imagine that if I was holding a door closed with a possessed demon behind it, that my screaming would be pretty similar.
I don't doubt that at all.
Right.
Yeah. I have heard you scream. It's just as annoying. So.
Okay. Jackass. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Bobby Joe is dead. And we never talked about the fact that, what was it? There was something in the cabin that was possessed. And I think somebody hit it on the back of the head or something like that. And the eyeball flew out. And she swallowed it. Oh, God, that made me
It never showed her spit it out. It just cut away when it went into her mouth. And then the next scene, she just like runs up to somebody. Never said anything like, holy shit, an eyeball just went down my throat. Or, gross, look what I just spit out. No, I just deep throated the zombie's eyeball.
I thought that she was going to get possessed first because of that. But they missed that opportunity, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
I don't know how it works.
Nobody does. The rules are made up as we go. So back to Annie being stuck in the cabin. She opens, I guess, the back door, and assuming Ash is going to be there. So she has this dagger ready, and this dagger is supposed to be what can kill a Deadite. I assume she knows this.
They don't ever cover it.
I don't know if they cover it, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And
I think her and her father are like
they know
explorers
shit, yeah.
or archaeologists. Yeah. Or
the door flies open and she stabs the first thing she sees, which happens to be Jake. So Jake,
I like how he's screaming in agony, and there's a part where like she gets mad at him and she's like, shut up, just shut up, and then she continues dragging his dead weight through the room, and he's just like,
and his feet get caught in the door and she's trying to fucking close it. And she just like angrily just like tosses his feet aside.
Yeah. I don't know why she wasn't thinking about it, but she left his body right next to the cellar. And Henrietta It was so unexpected for me because I had forgotten about it for a moment. And then here comes Henrietta just dragging Jake down the stairs. And he is just like gutturally screaming while Annie like
half-ass tries to like keep him out of the
fails
cellar.
To keep him out. He's not even, maybe he is more than halfway in. And then again, just the freaking fire hydrant pressure blood.
More blood that is in 10 human bodies.
Just comes spraying at her. And poor thing continues to try and hold his feet and then just gives up.
Yeah,
she says,
he's gone.
Jake wasn't very nice anyway.
Nope. Yet and Jake still cast a vote. It's fucking weird.
Stop it. So at this point, I don't remember exactly. What did he see? Ash is still possessed. He comes inside of the cabin, and I know he knocks her out. He pushes her or something.
He throws her against a wall, and somehow the necklace that he gave his girlfriend from the beginning falls onto the floor in a perfect skull shape, mind you.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
This is also replicated in the reboot. Oh, okay. Slightly different, but skull necklace. That snaps Ash out of the possession.
Because that's how possessions work.
Yes, it is. They laid out the rules plainly. Did you read the opening crawl at the beginning?
Like Star Wars?
Yeah. They gave a whole explanation. Crawl. I feel like you skipped over it.
I feel like you watched a different movie.
No, it sounds like we watched the exact same movie. You just skipped the beginning. With the opening crawl.
Okay. Anyways, continue.
Please pay attention
your
next time.
irrelevant point, please.
So, you're such a bitch.
I like how the moment I'm rude to you.
So, Ash, now unpossessed, kind of goes into full, like, hero mode. Like,
even though Annie's still trying to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, she eventually stops, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I guess you're fine.
I told you I'm well.
She's like, okay, fine. Whatever, mansplain it to me. And
I don't think that term was around back then.
It was. They do this whole, like, quick cutting scene where Ash is like smoldering together his chainsaw to put on his bloody stub where he lost his hand earlier, which we vaguely covered.
That was like a big part of the movie too.
But yeah, he lost his hand earlier. It tried to fight him. It lost lots of blood. Anyway.
Did it lose? Didn't it come back?
I don't know.
I think it was still hanging around the house.
Maybe.
It sent the fire hydrant water.
It went to move in with the Addams family.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Continue.
Canon. He makes a contraption where he can just put the chainsaw onto his little stub and just wield it like he's the Winter Soldier, right? And he takes the shotgun that they've been using, saws it off, and whips it behind him and puts it in his little back satchel thing. Mm-hmm. And he just like almost looks at the camera, and he's just like, groovy. And that kind of became the catchphrase for Ash Williams. He says it throughout Army of Darkness, which is the third one, and believe a few times in the show as well. So,
and throughout Comic-Con.
Yeah. And even at the very end of the reboot, after the credits, out of nowhere, it shows Ash driving an 18-wheeler, and he just stops, the window rolls down, he looks directly at the camera and just says, groovy. And then the movie's over. Makes no sense because he's not in the rest of the movie. So from there, they have to go down and get the pages from the cellar. And what I thought was funny was he's down there, he gets the pages, and all the while Henrietta's trying to attack him. And he takes this little bundle of pages, throws them straight up.
And they all perfectly land in her hand.
Yes. It's like probably 10 pieces of loose paper.
Yeah.
Throws them straight up.
Yeah.
And that's not how gravity works. But, again, they said that's how gravity works in this universe in the opening crawl that you missed. So,
okay.
Indeed.
Man, I missed a lot.
You did.
I think if I had more context clues, I probably would have enjoyed the movie better.
I think you should watch it again.
I think you should never, ever say that again.
Do you want to watch it again?
Continue your thought, Pants.
Fine.
So Ash is being attacked by Henrietta in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's still attempting to get out or have her continue to read whatever it is that she's reading. I think that Henrietta is convinced that Ash is injured enough for her to start attacking her daughter. So, she does her little spirit demon flying thing and is attacking Annie. And I love the rise of Ash from the cellar. He's just like so victorious, coming to the rescue. Henrietta,
His sleeve is gone now.
to match more of the picture
Exactly.
in the pages. Yeah, I'm following. Okay. Henrietta is so alarmed that he is still alive because, she hurt him. Right? They have their little tussle. Or I guess Henrietta starts going after Ash now. And so Annie is able to start, finishing the passages. And then, wham! She gets stabbed by...
Wham!
She gets stabbed by the, again,
dagger.
Spinal cord dagger thing.
I think it's like a Kundarian dagger or something. Unimportant.
I thought it was funny that you think that she's done, and you think that, the hole is open, like the time-space continuum.
So, hold on. She's not at first able to read the whole passage, so the forest itself comes alive.
Oh, and starts beating the house.
Yeah,
You're right.
and it starts like attacking the cabin, and the front door rips off, and... Why?
Sorry, you said starts attacking the cabin.
And it starts attacking the cabin, rips the front door off, and it's... All you see out of the front door is this huge, dead face.
It kind of looks like an evil guppy.
Okay.
It looked like an evil guppy tree.
Sure. I was thinking Zordon.
But I also forgot that
from Power Rangers.
Wow.
But dead.
Okay. Yeah, I accept. I forgot that in order to do the second passage, for whatever reason, they have to read the first passage again, even though the recording already did that for them, and then they can do the...
Right. So they have to read the passage to pretty much bring all the evil out. And then they have to continue reading to the second passage to open this time-space wormhole to send the evil back to which it came.
So dumb.
She's laying on the ground.
And also never gets sucked into the wormhole.
Well, no, she's dead, so it doesn't matter. Why would it take something dead?
It's taking everything else. It's taking... Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, doesn't it take the car too?
Yeah, the car's still working.
But it's inanimate.
Still working. It's alive.
I don't understand.
What if it possessed the car?
Okay, I should just read the reel.
No, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's laying on the ground, dying, stabbed, reading. And she finishes reading.
Yeah.
Not like a novel.
But she doesn't finish reading. Because she's just like, Kana. And then it cuts and you see Ash suffering for 10, 15 seconds. And then it comes back to her. She's like, Bohemian Rhapsody. The ending makes no sense. It takes her so long. She's dying. She's not even looking at the paperwork. And she's
But then she comes back and she's like, I'm going to save Ash. And so she finishes the passage. And the wormhole opens. And the dead get sucked in. And the car gets sucked in. A tree gets sucked in. As well as Ash.
Minus Annie.
Because she's dead now.
It doesn't make any sense. Continue.
Makes perfect sense.
Wormholes.
Read the opening crawl.
Oh, Jesus.
So.
Then Ash gets planted into, what is it, 1300?
AD, yes. Right where the book said that he was going to arrive and he was going to be the hero from the sky that they all need. One of the first things you see is a flying deadite.
Screeching.
Yeah, screeching and just flying towards them, attacking. And he just gets out his shotgun and just blasts its head off.
Yeah, Ash victoriously shoots this thing out of the sky.
Yeah, and that's when he becomes a hero from the sky, and they all start to worship him.
Yeah.
And also the first time you hear the term deadite in the movie, which it's, again, referred to as from here on out. The knights all are, hailing him and worshiping him, and he's just no.
Yeah, I was thinking about it when the ending credits were rolling,
And you were like, I need to
And
watch
he's
this
going to
again.
be exposed to everything that has been eradicated since that time. He's never going to eat Subway again. Or...
Why did that come to mind?
Because I was like, what would happen if I got thrown into 13 AD?
Subway is what you would miss.
No, and it was just the first thing that came to my mind right now, Pants. But last night I had thought about, God, why do you have to take everything I say and flip it on me? Just shut up. God.
So crappy.
I was just thinking about how I was never going to have Puerto Rican food again because...
You could be the one to discover Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that the ships back then would make it there.
You don't know.
I don't know.
There's a car.
Wow.
Drive to Puerto Rico.
Oh, stop.
So yeah, it sets up the third film, which is Army of Darkness, and which is a complete action comedy. There's no horror elements at all. Lots more stop motion puppets. It's very full on stupid. It's good. I like it. You probably wouldn't.
Of course you do. You like most bad things. So, Pants.
I'd like you to know
What?
that on a list I found online,
Okay.
which I don't remember what list, so I can't credit it really,
Okay.
but I'm going to assume it was a list of high substance
Sure.
of the top 100 cult classics.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Where do you think this fell?
91.
You're both so close and so far. It was 19.
Wow.
Indeed. And rightfully so.
I guess, again, my opinion is not the same as others. It looks like the general consensus of this movie is that it was great. Yeah. That's not my opinion.
I'd also like you to know, can you stop trying to stop me?
I want to speak first. Go ahead, Pants. What were you going to say?
So, the car, actually, it's a 73 Delta 88, and it shows up in all of Sam Raimi's movies. From the first one on through, like, because he did the original Spider-Man trilogy. It's in all those. He did
Does
Oz.
that have, like, a sentimental value to him?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it is. It's in the Oz, the Great and Powerful, with James Franco. And I assume because Sam Raimi is directing the new Doctor Strange movie, it'll be somewhere in the background.
Cool.
Indeed. I'm very excited for him to do that. I think he's going to do some good shit.
Yeah.
He did good on most of the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, Christina, on a scale of 1 to 10, how many deep-throated eyeballs would you give this movie?
Oh my God, that's terrible. If 5 is neutral, then I'm going to give it a 3. Because I did laugh. But I didn't. I'm not going to watch it again. I think it was more enjoyable because, like, this is going to sound so dumb, but it's true. I think that knowing that you enjoy this movie, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, why? And, like, that keeps me entertained. I don't understand your brain, but thank you, I guess, for introducing me to this movie.
I can't wait for you to watch Army of Darkness.
I'm sorry. Pants.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how many spirit holes
Oh, that's a good one.
would you give this movie?
That was better than Deep Throated Eyeballs. You actually win this week. Boom. Gosh, spirit holes. You know, I stand by that I love this movie. I'm gonna give Evil Dead 2. I'm fluctuating. I'm gonna give it 7 spirit holes.
Wow.
And I was gonna say 8, but I think that's getting into like masterpiece territory.
Sure.
So, yeah, 7.
Yeah, that's still high.
Indeed, it's higher than 3. It's probably because I have taste. So.
Oh, okay.
That has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, it's fact.
Okay, moving on.
Read the crawl.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast.
Tina.
Panties. Did you have something else to say before I did that?
Yeah, you have to roll.
Oh, fuck. All right. Well, we have reached that point in the podcast where we are going to roll the die. And it is my turn. All right, guys. Here we go. H. Okay. Oh, you know what we can do? Watch that Hobbs movie. What is it called? Hobbs and...
Shaw.
Or is it...
Hobbs and Shaw.
Did we just reference that?
We did.
I don't want to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like H is going to be the letter for next week. I can't think of anything right now, but I am going to be doing my research because I feel like Evil Dead was quite cruel.
Amazing.
So I'm really excited to find something that is going to be controversial for you. Let's do this.
Okay. All right, guys. So that wraps it up for this week. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as Tina enjoyed watching Evil Dead 2.
3 out of 10.
Oh.
Eyeballs.
Rate us higher than 3, please.
If you like what you heard, if you guys enjoyed listening, we would really appreciate it if you would rate us 5 stars and leave us a review. Let us know what you thought, and that helps other people find the podcast. Let them listen to our shenanigans and banter as well.
Mm-hmm. And you can leave that 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. We're also on Spotify, Stitcher, and Overcast.
Feel free to follow us on Twitter. We like to post things on there about upcoming movies that we're going to launch on Friday, and that handle is WTF Did I Watch Pod.
Indeed.
Well,
Dead by Dawn.
What? Dead by Dawn.
I had a bubble in my throat when I did it.
Sounded pretty convincing.
Thank you.
Thank you guys again so much for listening. We hope you have a beautiful week, lovely weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.
Bye.